Hello, I am Kalen Carpenter with the Hashknife Ranch, and you are?
I am Brandon Carpenter.
All
The other
right,
one's
and this is in
part
the
of the
chute.
Hashknife Ranch.
So, oh, okay, yeah, we'll add that in there. This is in the chute, round two, and the second question for this particular, episode playlist is why specifically do we, as the Hashknife Ranch, raise Red Angus cattle?
Oh, that's a very good question. There's a lot of cattle breeds out there. You know, a lot of people are doing a lot of different things with specialty breeds. Um, they're a Bos Taurus type of cow or bovine instead of Bos Indicus, which are some of the southern breeds, high temperature type resistant breeds. Sorry.
Which and to kind of throw something on there, I don't know anything about what you're throwing out there word wise because I'm a Bachelor of Arts degree rather than Bachelor of Science. I know you have a biology degree, but
Well, actually, your brother, Braden, took a class and he was asking me about Bos Indicus, Bos Taurus, and actually, threw some things out there that I didn't know, which was kind of cool. So it's like, you know what? Why not use those terms?
yeah,
You think about the Bos Taurus, like the astrological sign Taurus, a heavy muscled,
yeah,
thicker. That's more of a northern type breed because you know how northern climate animals tend
oh
to
for
be
sure,
heavier muscled.
yep.
Um,
Well,
you go
it's
south.
also a form of insulation for that cold
That's
and
right.
trying to make it through it. Yeah,
Yeah, it's all about the elements.
yeah,
So when I was a kid, all you saw really were Hereford cattle. Everybody had Hereford cattle,
yeah,
horned Herefords, and
yeah.
different things have evolved from the Black Angus. There were, good God, a lot of dairy breeds, but
Yeah.
there were some intrinsically negative, I'll say, traits to Hereford cattle. One of them, and a Hereford is for those that don't know, is red with white faces, maybe some white feet, and usually their underbelly is white. Their bag is white.
Yeah, and
Um,
in a weird, I guess, in a common sense, you could kind of call them a red baldy, right?
well, yeah, black baldies have come from that, and we'll touch on that in a minute. But uh, one of the things that was not desirable really is they have horns. They're a
Yeah.
horned animal, and so you'd have issues with horns being coming and growing into their face, coming into their face. Um, Horns hooking each other. They seem to be prone to pink eye, which is a disease, a
Right.
conjunctivitis type disease.
Yeah.
In the wintertime, sunburn on their bags on these cows. You'd
Oh,
have the
from the
sun
snow.
shining off of the snow,
Yeah.
and you get sunburn, and then they don't nurse a calf. They get really dry, chapped. I mean, it hurts. Some of them would be, seem to be a little bit higher. And I don't know if this is just me because growing up I saw it so much. When they calve, you seem to have a lot of prolapses where the entire
Mm.
uterus would come out.
Yeah.
That was something. So they started. Their Black Angus has been around for a long, long time, and so they started bringing some Black Angus in and trying to take some of the traits because the Herefords are really a nice, calm breed. I mean,
I
they're
was gonna
just
say docile. When
laid
I
back,
think when I think
very docile.
Hereford, I think docile, and you can just walk out there, maybe pet them, and they're really just easy going and easy to work with. You're not gonna go out there and stress about, okay, is today gonna be a rodeo, or am I gonna have to really work to keep things calm?
Right. No, and they are. They're for the most part, and we're painting broad brushes when you say things like this, whether
Yeah,
it's
yeah, of course.
cattle, horses, whatever. But yeah, very docile is a very good way to put it. So I started bringing in some blacks, and they are not known for their docility.
The personality.
Yeah, they can be a little honky, especially cows. They're just a little bit more agitative, I
Yeah.
guess. I mean, you can really piss them off pretty easily.
I was gonna say you could, especially dealing with their calves. I
Right.
would argue you can probably consider them or categorize them as possessive, and that's
Oh yeah.
probably the most equilative way of explaining it.
Yeah, but I mean, you want a really good maternal instinct in a cow.
Right,
You
but
want them
there's
to
a
save
point
that
where
baby.
it's a little too much.
Right. Yeah. You don't want, what is that? Mama bears? Nancy's a
Yeah,
mama bear. Is that the right way?
yeah.
Right. So you don't want that. And so there was some really good outcome when you would cross the black Angus with the Hereford, because then you would no longer, most of the time, have horns. The genetic traits of the black would be dominant. You'd lose the horns for the most part. Occasionally, you'd still get some come through, but it seemed to calm them down a little bit. But the coloring of the animal then would be a black cow with generally a white face, and so you call them a black baldy.
Right.
And that's how you would get that, is by crossing a black Angus with a Hereford. And a black baldy is a fine cow. I mean, we've had a lot of them. When I was even in high school, we were basically really kind of trending out of the Herefords and more towards the black baldies.
Well, and that's something from my perspective, just throwing it out there off the top of my head is, uh, what was the biggest issue you had with transferring from red to black? Because suddenly I'm thinking summertime. We get, people don't think about it, but up in the north, it actually gets it gets significantly hotter than you think. It may not be
Yeah.
in the 120s, 130s like Arizona, but it still gets up in the 110s, the 100s in on a regular basis in Montana. How much did you notice like a summer impact on some of those darker breeds with that darker hide and maybe absorbing more sun and heat?
Oh, you notice it. It definitely.
Yeah.
You'll see those animals. I mean, they're all trying to hunt some shade,
Of
right? They're
course.
trying to find. But you'll notice the blacks they're breathing heavier.
Yeah.
They're panting.
Sweating. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean they are trying to stay cool.
And they may not necessarily disperse from water either, right? Because they're going
No,
to stay closer to that water hole, and they're not going to use up the grass that's on the farther reaches of the pasture and
that's a
stuff.
cow. That's typical cow of any kind.
Yeah.
Though they're lazy,
That's fair.
they only go as far as they have to.
Yeah.
But yeah, you would know you can notice those things very, very easily, even to someone who's not really looking for it, but they're intuitively going, wow, that animal's breathing a lot heavier, a lot faster. Respirations are closer together. So there's that. The reds, we started into the reds, got introduced into them because of the disposition. They're not a black,
Right.
and again, there's nothing wrong with the black baldy, but you will have sometimes some white bags. You get them in the reds as well, but the Red Angus, straight Red Angus, but you try to call out for that. And we've got a few there that have been good cows, but they got white bags, and it's like, I'll keep her because she's raising a good cow or a good calf every year. Then we'll let her go at some point. But you'll notice a huge difference in disposition. The Red Angus are very much like the Herefords that I remember. Laid back, fairly calm, very good maternal instinct. It doesn't mean you don't want to you want to turn your back on them during calving season.
Yeah.
That quick little story when you and I and your brother.
We'll get there.
That's a good one.
Hashtag 22 a day or 22 a year.
Yeah.
We'll get there.
That was fun. Anyhow, so we've gotten into the Red Angus a little bit more now. Whether it's a good idea or not, I mean, you can argue that because of the marketability. Now, the Black Angus Association have done a brilliant job of marketing those black animals, and that's all it is. It is marketing.
Well, and kind of going down a quick rabbit hole. That's a lot of things.
It is.
You market whatever your niche is really well, you're golden. And they've said, we always hear, once you go black, you never go back. There's always that, but we always say better bred red. And there's a small ranch around Hashknife, Montana that says better bred red, and it's on It's right there as you go down the interstate on the ceiling or on the top of those sheds and stuff. But no,
Yep.
I agree. The Black Angus Cattle Association, like they have figured it out, and they've gone well above and beyond the Red Angus
Oh yeah.
spectrum. That they, I
Oh
mean,
yeah.
they've just done a good job because frankly, we're one of the few outfits that I have noticed in Montana that has a red cattle herd.
Actually, there, and you'd be surprised. You've been in the military. You've been in college and the military for a while.
Yeah.
You'd be surprised how many reds we're seeing more and more and more of them
Really?
all the time.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's good to hear. Good to hear.
yeah, it's good. Yeah, whenever you have a market where, in order to be a part of that market, the very first thing is they say the first thing that cow has to have is a black hide. I mean, that's marketing. You know, we don't take a piece of paper and make a copy of it. We Xerox it, right?
Yeah.
That's marketing.
Yeah.
Yeah, Xerox Corporation did that first, and so, you know, it's not a company. It's a adjective or a verb. What you're going to do to something, but yeah, it's really good cattle. They're hardy cattle. They don't suffer the heat quite like the Black Angus do. Better disposition. I don't think there's a lot of difference in them between how they convert grass to meat, you know, or weight. Good feet. Those are all some more individual traits or genetic traits.
Genetics, yeah.
Yeah, they're very, very similar, except black to red and a disposition. I think if you would really want to paint a super broad brush, that would be it. Color, disposition.
Yeah.
And that's it. I mean, they eat the same. They eat good. I defy somebody to have two steaks laying there, one out of a Red Angus, one out of a Black Angus, finish the same, and tell me which is different. I mean,
you can get into more broad human characteristics of that, with which one's white, which one's black, or which one's white, which
right.
one's, you know, Asian, which one's white, which one's Hispanic. It doesn't matter. It really
doesn't matter. And
yeah.
you know, the taste is the same on these, the cutability, the tenderness. It isn't the animal at that point. Now it's about finishing the animal and what goes into having a grass fat and then change into or convert into a grain finished, high, fast, super good quality weight gain for marbling. All of those things that are desirable for taste and tenderability for the consumer. Exactly right. Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
all right. So with that, I think we'll put it out to pasture.